It is a reality that not all things in this world happen the way we want them to be. God's timing isn't always our timing, but absolutely, God is working things out for better. This COVID-19 pandemic has really changed everything around the world, from our basic routinary way of living to celebration of big events has suddenly changed to a new normal. To our dear parents and their children who patiently waited for this momentous event, the long wait is over. Tominjao National High School proudly presents its second virtual graduation ceremony for the school year 2020-2021. This most awaited event has never been made possible without the support of the equally esteemed individuals from the Department of Education. Our Secretary, Dr. Leonor M. Briones, our Regional Director, Dr. Salustiano T. Jimenez, Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Marilyn S. Andales, together with the Assistant Schools Division Superintendents, Dr. Anelito A. Bongkawil, Dr. Lorenzo M. Dizan, and Dr. Faye C. Luarez. Our active Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Eva A. Casinillo, our dedicated and very young school principal, Mrs. Cirila M. Monleon, and other distinguished men and women of the entire academic community, colleagues, members of the graduating class, the proud parents, guardians, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant and joyous viewing to all.
Presenting the Tominjao National High School second virtual graduation ceremony. Let us welcome the graduates with their parents, the faculty and staff, the guests, and our deputy leaders in the processional.
To begin with, may we put ourselves in the spirit of patriotism as we listen to our national anthem, followed by the invocation and the Sukbo hymn.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, helas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidinig. Luman ang araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya na pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Let us bow our heads and feel the presence of our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are our strength, our great provider, and our hope. We are nothing without you. We humbly ask your presence on this momentous event to bless this graduating class. But more than that, and of first importance, we desire that you would be here with us this afternoon. Thank you for the precious gifts of knowledge and discovery. We thank you for the opportunity to come and gather here today. Bless these graduates. Give them the grace to make a difference for the good wherever they may find themselves in years ahead. For those who will pursue further education, grant not only the knowledge they will need in their chosen fields, but also wisdom to apply that knowledge to life as it really is. For those who will be going directly into the workforce, give a sense of what is right and good and appropriate in the often confusing issues they will face. For all of these graduates and the families of which they are a part, we ask that they may make a significant contribution to the general welfare of society. May they especially be a blessing to those whose lives they personally touch. We entrust everything in you, Lord. This we ask through Jesus Christ, our Savior, with the intercession of Mama Mary. Amen.
Subuhan ang kabubutan sa habagatan, kinapusuran, lalawigan sa kabisayaan, sa kaalam, adunahan, sa among gugmaot lumukan. Ipanalipayunan talunan Senyo sa Tominjao, makasaysayanon, maabi-abihon, madanihulog ang ay kagayon na ipasigaron. Subo pinangga sa klima o panahon, kalinaw, kauswagan, palutaron, palamon, bisan asa mudangan, sa among pagpaling kamon, ikaw amo kanunay, lahan lumon, ikaw amo kanunay, lahan lumon.
It always gives us a good feeling when we are welcome to an event we are attending. So, let us hear the welcome address from our graduate with high honors, Mr. Adrian Gambarihan.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you.
To our DAP Ed personnel, our school principal, Mrs. Zurila Monleon, to our dear teachers, classmates and friends, our dearest parents, a pleasant afternoon to all of us. Bill Can says, yesterday is past, tomorrow's future, today is a gift. That is why it is called the present. This day is a gift from the highest because despite all odds in this pandemic time, it didn't hinder us in our educational endeavor. Indeed, it is a glorious moment for all of us for having a successful come to the end of our high school journey. To cherish this moment, I heartily say, welcome to Tominjao National High School virtual graduation ceremony for school year 2020 to 2021.
Thank you, Adrian, for that warm welcome to our viewers today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness virtually the main highlight of today's event. To do the honor of presenting the school year's candidates for graduation, may we have on our screen our very own and dedicated school principal, Mrs. Cirila M. Monleon, followed right away by the acceptance, confirmation, and message by our public schools district supervisor, Dr. Eva A. Casinillo.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you.
Dr. Eva A. Casinillo, Public Schools District Supervisor of the Anbantayan 2, the authorized representative of Dr. Marilyn S. Andales, the school's division superintendent. In my capacity as the school principal of Tominjao National High School, I have the honor to present to you the 90 candidates for graduation. 25 of whom are males for gas and 31 are females. 23 of whom are males for chef and 11 are females. They have satisfactorily completed the basic requirements prescribed by the Department of Education and are now awaiting for confirmation as graduates with all the rights, honors, privileges thereunto appertaining.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me by the school's division superintendent, Dr. Marilyn S. Andales, and based on the facts and figures presented to me by your school head, Mrs. Cirila M. Monleon, and on the assurance that you have satisfactorily completed the basic requirements of secondary education under the K-12 curriculum as prescribed by the Department of Education. I do hereby approve and confirm your senior high school graduation on this 16th day of July 2021 with all the rights, honors, privileges thereunto appertaining. Henceforth, you are now eligible for transfer and admission to college in any private or public institutions in the Republic of the Philippines. Should it be impossible for you to continue your higher studies, I am now turning you over to your parents with high hopes that you will become productive and useful citizens of our country. Congratulations and Godspeed.
Thank you, ma'am. And for the graduates, congratulations. At this juncture, you will be witnessing the distribution of diplomas to the graduates by their respective advisors. Grade 12 Guys, Advisor, Mrs. Roslyn G. De Moral.
Abing Liam Vincent Pipito. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Vicente Jr. Rosalyn Abing. Aranchado Dexter de la Cruz. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Tereso Adela Aranchado. Balabat Jeremy Moralde. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronnie Virginia Gina Balabat. Balabat Jericho Moralde. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronnie Virginia Gina Balabat. Bilano Junji Inzo. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Hilarion Imalinda Bilano. Brunyola A.J. Cordova. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Aljane Ima Brunyola. Bugtong Gianmarco Arcelias. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rico Ginalyn Bugtong. Kahutay Jean Sanchez. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jose Cecilia Kahutay. Kambarihan Adrian Pipito. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jaime Amilin Kambarihan. Casas John Vincent Pitt Brunyola. Parent, Mrs. Maria Lilibet Casas. Diarca Bertkin Pipito. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gilberto Lusky Diarca. Estopa Dino Aranchado. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Francisco Nidi Estopa. Estopa Jumark Aribado. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jose Erlinda Estopa. Estrella John-Mark Rosel. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Chiquito Maria Estrella. Gudinis John-Mark Pilipo. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Bienvenido Ima Gudinis. Lauron Kenneth J. Inso. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronnie Rebecca Lauron. Maluluyon Jumari Ariglado. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Richelle Marisa Maluluyon. Urungan Raymark Aranchado. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Marshall Richie Urungan. Pipito Junel Pasilan. Parent, Mrs. Honor Pipito. Rilosor Johnny Lideros. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ramil Cecilin Rilosor. Rodrigo Jake Pipito. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Eduardo Marilo Rodrigo. Tapayan Franciscar Lauron. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Francisco Riza Tapayan. Villar Jason Bantilan. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Randy Berlinda Villar. Yasi Francis Lloyd Kunhi. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Antonio Mary Angel Yasi. Yasi Mark Francis Guarin. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Francis Amada Yasi. Arabis Vanessa Pipito. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Armando Zinaida Arabis. Arsenal April May Ariasgado. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Romeo Liluna Arsenal. Aranchado Lea Pipito. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ireneo Mercy Aranchado. Ariesgado Florani Monteseven. Parent, Mrs. Florita Ariesgado. Ariesgado Rochelle May. Parent, Mrs. Flor de Lisa Ariesgado. Bantisil Serami Golfan. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Edwindo Maria Flor Bantisil. Brunyola Jane Ann Aspera. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Joel Chandrina Brunyola. Cabanes Maria Fatima Seros. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Juanito Analisa Cabanes. Casas John Ana May Brunyola. Parent, Mrs. Maria Lilibet Casas. Chavez Beth Carmel Rodrigo. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Beethoven Evelyn Chavez. Herbisi Gladibel Mangyao. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jolito Riza Herbisi. Herbisi Mabel Pitogo. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Samson Wilma Herbisi. Gika Jifen Tahanlangit. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Federico J. Gika. Godis Regine Martinez. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rene Jennifer Godis. Lucido Vename Rose Bohol. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Napoleon Vilma Lucido. Maluluyon Willa Flor Andujar. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Wilson Flora May Maluluyon. Maluluyon Willa May Andujar. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Wilson Flora May Maluluyon. Monterde Rema Gastador. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rico Alma Monterde. Patalita Antoinette Tobus. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Reynaldo Leonora Patalita. Pipito Sarah Jane Labrada. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rodilio Jonalyn Pipito. Reyes Rofame Buwan. Parent, Mrs. Olivia Reyes. Rivera Ana May Sumugat. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Leonardo May Rivera. Rosales R.V. Malinaw. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Victoriano Salome Rosales. Rosel Jacqueline Ligaspi. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Renerio Ninita Rosel. Sanchez Charity Noval. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Dominador Lizelle Sanchez. Santueli Rachel May Bruniola. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Emmanuel Rubina Santueli. Tungko Angeline May Aranchado. Guardian, Miss Florinda Aranchado. Tranca Angelica Bernardo. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Leo Lynn Tranca. Viado Joy Gandalia. Parents, Mr. Herlando Viado. Ibalye Razel Sanchez. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Roy Chain Chain Ibalye. Ilanan Crismi Rubio. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Danilo Crisilda Ilanan.
Grade 12 Chef. Advisor, Mrs. Sabitisa R. Buayaban.
Apostol Jever Anthony. Parent, Miss Linda Apostol. Arsenal Aljon Udasco. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Alan Linalin Arsenal. Aranchado Lloyd Cabani. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Nolly Liza Aranchado. Aranchado Rizan Nanet. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rini Susan Aranchado. Arisgado John Vincent Pipito. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Roel Victoria Arisgado. Bachancela Mark Vincent Aranchado. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Vicente Marilyn Bachancela. Caballero John Michael Castelio. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rodolfo Yusifel Caballero. Kaubat Sachi Tagalog. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Salvador Shrel Kaubat. Kaubat Sherwin Tagalog. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Salvador Shrel Kaubat. Cuervo Joy G. Aranchado. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Romeo Lorena Cuervo. Discipulo Glenn Monterde. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Dominador Emelia Discipulo Jr. Gastador John Frex Rosales. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ringy Irene Gastador. Golfan Meth Wendell Pereño. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Methwin Wilfreda Golfan. Lauron Charlo Rodrigo. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Edison Rowena Lauron. Luchi Gisinjin Rosalijos. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Helvis Sinaida Lochi. Magali Jolius. Guardian, Mrs. Juana Franca Magali. Maluluyon Darwin Dave Pipito. Parent, Miss Elinaria Maluluyon. Monterde Danriv Arabes. Parent, Miss Fee Monterde. Moralde Rusty J. Adipin. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Restituto Maria Jinky Moralde III. Narbasa Melchris Gabay.
Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Emilio Marlina Narbasa. Pipito Jovel Trangia. Parent, Miss Marcela Pipito. Rosel Carl John Ariglo. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Nonito Rosa Rosel. Rosel Marfred Alaje. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Victor Maria Jena Rosel. Arsenal Shainalin Kulita. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sabas Merna Arsenal. Arsenal T. Villanca. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronelo Belma Arsenal Jr. Arriesgado Juvi Nina Caputo. Parent, Miss Carolina Arriesgado. Aspera Gisami Minor. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Vicente Concepcion Aspera. Brunula Ann Margaret Magdadaro. Parent, Mrs. Jenda Brunula. Bugtong Kim Mipieza. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Randy Geraldine Bugtong. Istay Eliza. Parent, Miss Lilibet Istay. Gabay Denica Abadis. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Danelo Candelaria Gabay. Laurente Giseline Samson. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Alfredo Elizabeth Laurente. Yaon Darcy K. Gabay. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Denise Annalyn Yaon. Igot Ariadne Zane Olivar. Parents, Mr. Patrocinio Aranchado and Miss Gineline Ego.
Graduates, you've got in your hands the fruit of your hard work for 6 years. Congratulations once again. To acknowledge the hard work of our graduates, let us witness them as they reap the fruit of their hard work. To do the honor of presenting the awards, let's welcome on screen our Senior High School Coordinator, Mr. Alan Aranchado.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you.
Academic Achievers, School Year 2020-2021, Grade 12, Class. Rochelle May Arriesgado, with high honors. Guardian, Mrs. Flordelisa Arriesgado. Adrian P. Cambrihan, with high honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jaime and Annalyn Cambrihan. Vanessa P. Arabes, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Armando and Zenaida Arabes. April May A. Arsenal, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Romeo and Lelona Arsenal. Florani M. Arriesgado, with honors. Guardian, Mrs. Floreta Arriesgado. J.M. A. Bruniola, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Joel and Chandrena Bruniola. Maria Fatima C. Cabanes, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Juanito and Annalisa Cabanes. Beth Carmel R. Chavez, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Beethoven and Evelyn Chavez. Gladybel M. Herbisi, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jolito and Riza Herbisi. Mabel P. Herbisi, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Samson and Wilma Herbisi. Jifen T. Geka, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Federico and J. Gika. Kenneth J. I. Lauron, with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronnie and Rebecca Laurun. Vina May Rose B. Lucido with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Napoleon and Velma Lucido. Rima G. Monterde with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rico and Alma Monterde. Antoinette T. Pataleta with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Reynaldo and Leonora Pataleta. Jake P. Rodrigo with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Eduardo and Marlo Rodrigo. RV M. Rosales with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Victoriano and Salome Rosales. Jacqueline L. Rosel with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Renerio and Neneta Rosel. Angelica B. Tranca with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Leo and Lane Tranca. Jason B. Villar with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Randy and Berlinda Villar. Rizal S. Epalle with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Roy and Chinchin Epalle. Chrismy R. Ilanan with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Danilo and Griselda Ilanan. Academic Achievers, School Year 2020-2021, Grade 12, Chef. Danica A. Gabay with high honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Danilo and Candelaria Gabay. Darcy K. G. Yaun with high honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Dennis and Annalyn Yaun. Ariadne Zen O. Igo with high honors. Parents, Mr. Patrocinio Aranchado and Miss Jeneline Igo. Giver Anthony Apostol with honors. Parent, Miss Linda Apostol. Aljun O. Arsenal with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Alan and Linalyn Arsenal. Shaina Lane C. Arsenal with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Sabas and Myrna Arsenal. T. V. Arsenal with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronelo and Wilma Arsenal. John Vincent P. Arriesgado with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Roel and Victoria Arriesgado. Jovelinia C. Arriesgado with honors. Parent, Miss Carolina Arriesgado. Gisami M. Aspera with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Vicente and Concepcion Aspera. Kim Desiree M. Bugtong with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Randy and Geraldine Bugtong. John Fritz R. Gastader with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ringy and Irene Gastader. Gisellen S. Laurente with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Alfredo and Elizabeth Laurente. Jisin Jin R. Loche with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gilbis and Zenaida Loche.
Thank you, Sir Anand. Now to give the academic excellence address, may we hear Ms. Darcy K. G. Yaun, our graduate with high honors.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you.
Good day. Even in the midst of this pandemic, our graduation has finally come. To my alma mater, to Minhao National High School, which has been surrounded by so many good people. Thank you for having us for 6 years, and for this commencement we have to experience as the fruit of our hard work over the years. The truth is that if I only had myself, I would not have made it through this journey. Today is the perfect day to express my gratitude to those who have aided me in becoming the person I am today. To my classmates, friends, teachers, especially those who became my advisor, our principal, and of course, my family. I consider myself extremely fortunate to have you all in my life. Sincerely, a heartfelt thank you. One of the many things they did for me was to encourage me. They have encouraged me to study harder and push myself to the limit until my life goals and dreams are realized. And now, we, my fellow graduates, are getting closer to our destination. Just thinking about a new setting, a new place to grow, strangers who might be able to help us a lot more is both sad and exciting. It's unfortunate that we won't be able to see each other very often. We may part ways, but I'm confident that the memories we shared will live on. The lessons we learned from one another will serve as the foundation for our decisions. It's incredible how much we've all changed in the last 6 years. We were scolded by the teachers for playing on the playground during our first year at school. Most of us were afraid to report, and I recall thinking that the majority of senior high school students were probably at least 25 years old. Today, I am proud to report that we have matured enough to play Mobile Legend instead of running around the playground during the face-to-face days, that we have all stood on our own during reportings, and that we are now graduating as respectful students. And if all of that is true, imagine how different we will all be in 4, 6, or 10 years from now. I recently had an interview with the university where I enrolled, and I was asked what my greatest accomplishment in life was, and I shared my most memorable moment. And to summarize my accomplishment, it was moving from who I am to who I can be. Thank you to myself for keeping the faith and growing braver by the day, to my loved ones for making me strong, and to the Almighty for providing me with strength. I am grateful, sad, and excited to put this chapter behind me. One step at a time is required at this time. We must fly and keep moving in order to become the person we want to be or who can be. To the class of 2021, congratulations to each and every one of us, and best wishes to our new chapter. And God bless us all.
Thank you, Darcy, for your heart-rending speech. Now let us hear the graduation messages from our school's Division Superintendent, Dr. Marilyn S. Andales, Regional Director Dr. Celestiano T. Jimenez, and Department of Education Secretary Dr. Leonor M. Briones. Please watch this.
My warmest greetings and congratulations to the completers and graduates of school year 2020-2021. You are a special gem in this challenging time brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. You surpassed the test of time by being flexible in embracing the different learning modalities just to acquire the necessary knowledge, skills, and attitude, which apparently prepare you to be globally competitive and productive citizens. Indeed, we are a living witness to the undying support of your parents, relatives, and friends who stood by you to provide you with the needed moral, emotional, and financial support. To you, our beloved administrators and teachers, I am expressing my deepest appreciation for your resilience at this historic time. You stand out amid crisis. Your dedication and commitment to public service is worthy of emulation by the next generation of leaders and educators. Remain focused and be more innovative and sturdier as you face the more challenging situations ahead. My dear learners, now that you are ready to take on another journey next school year, continue embracing life's challenges with passion, dedication, and hard work. Pursue your dreams and contribute meaningfully to nation building as you climb the ladder of success. Again, congratulations, Godspeed.
Greetings of love and peace to each and everyone. School year 2020-2021 has been the most challenging year in education. All been struggling to survive in all aspects. But our beloved Secretary Leonor Magtulis Briones lead the baton that education must continue amidst whatever crisis we will be facing. And so, here we are, celebrating one of the most precious accomplishment that you have, your graduation and moving up ceremonies. It is one fleeting sense of pride and joy to be able to celebrate with all of you for your victory, bravery, resilience, perseverance, and commitment that push you to experience what we have today. So our beloved, most precious gems, our dear learners, just wanted to let you know that you are doing great. It is not easy to be learners with all the pressures in today's world. The more in these trying times due to pandemic. How you hurdle your lessons remotely through distance learning of varied modalities, the fear and scare of the virus due to negative publicity, and many more. But you survive and victorious. So, don't lose your heart if you find things difficult. Today, the world is so tested. It is a high time that you put all your learnings into action. Never be a bystander watching as the world takes a paradigm shift. Take the wheel. Collectively, the youth are stronger than any pandemic known to men. Remember, everyone is a student of life as we all keep learning something or the other throughout our lives. So, keep the faith and believe in yourselves. Work hard and work smart too. And with the right focus and determination, you will see that goals are not impossible to achieve. Just have a clear plan, and whatever detours come your way, don't be afraid. Face them with conviction that those are part of the pitfalls where we cannot evade. So be strong and let your education and learnings with God be your shield. And don't forget to thank the most honest persons in your life. Those who can say and tell you exactly what you are doing, either good or bad. Those who guide you sincerely to the path where you want to walk on. Who always with you in times of your successes and downfalls. They are your parents, teachers, relatives, and best friend. So learners, congratulations, you hit the mark on your timeline. To all the parents and guardians out there, your contribution towards the realization of the once dreams of your children is so great. Sustain it, and you will see and harvest the fruits of it sooner than later. So thank you for partnering with DepEd through your children's education. So to all of you, congratulations. To the school, I know how you struggle also, especially that the world was shocked of what happened and nobody was prepared. There were so many hows and whys, but you are able to navigate it until reaching its destination. So whatever is the experience and hardships, what is more important is the outcome of what you have done. That's why my salute to you. To our teachers, school heads, supervisors, and non-teaching personnel, you did a great job, worthy of emulation. I am proud of you. To the SDOs, I am so happy of what your division accomplished for school year 2020-2021. Your efforts doesn't go to vain. Now it comes into fruition. So to all, kudos. To everyone, always have the smile in you. See miracles in life every day, and you will be filled with positivity in thoughts and actions. Congratulations once again. Keep safe and God bless everyone.
Good day to each and everyone who is attending virtually present at this time of our graduation ceremonies for our beloved and very precious graduates for the school year which ends at this time. First of all, I'd like to greet the parents and family members without whose sacrifices, whose reminders, and whose participation in the learning process for our graduates have resulted in this culmination program. This year, your role has changed drastically, where we've always thought, we've always believed that the matter of educating our children rests nearly exclusively on our teachers and our staff. This time, you parents, you family members, you who are in the households of our learners have expanded your role and contributed to this wonderful day wherein finally our learners are graduating in this culmination exercise. So congratulations, because this year has not been very easy, has not been a picnic for our teachers, for our family members, as well, especially the parents, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and all who have contributed to the achievement of our learners at this time. So, maraming salamat at congratulations, parents and family members. Mas malaki ang role ninyo at this time compared to earlier graduation exercises. Secondly, I would also like to greet our teachers, without whose very careful review and careful supervision of the work of our pupils and our learners, this event would not be taking place at all. And so thank you, teachers. Your role has also expanded, in addition to seeing to it that the modules are faithfully followed, the assignments are correctly implemented, and the learners are truly learning, and you have had to deal with new ways of assessing the performance also of the learners. So congratulations, teachers, for enduring, for your patience, for your love for our learners, and your willingness to engage in a way and methods of teaching which are different from those which are used to. Assessment must have been especially difficult for you, especially since you were not able to see most of the time our students in face-to-face meetings, and most of the meetings, of course, were virtual. We'd also like to thank the local government units for their interest, for their cooperation, and for their continuing contributions to the needs of education, even as our children do not go to school. Your donations of material as well as financial resources at this time are most welcome, and your advice has been taken seriously not only by our teachers, by our school officials, but also by our officials in the Department of Education. We continually talk with local government units, especially in times of disaster, in times of great need for classrooms, for space, and for responses to unforeseen emergencies. Thank you, local government units. But of course, most of the congratulatory greetings fall on the deserving graduate. Each and every one of you is truly special. You are different from the other graduates who have passed through the portals of your school. You went to school practically without seeing your teachers, if at all. You went to school with your parents, your mothers, and your fathers hovering over your shoulders and seeing to it that you are able to complete your assignments. You are completing your studies at a time when examinations and assessments are different. You are culminating these long months of hard work at this time, even as you have to do family chores, even as you are distracted, and even as your world has turned upside down and it seems and it appears as if we don't know what the future holds and what will happen next. But you have persevered, and now you are ready to graduate. And therefore, you deserve each and every bit of congratulations from us in the Department of Education, from your parents and family members, your teachers, from the officials in local government, as well as in the parent teachers associations. You deserve each and every single congratulatory pat on your back, each hug virtually, of course, and each greeting, which I am sure you are also receiving virtually. I don't know if you will remember this event many, many years from now. I have tried to recall myself who our graduation speaker was when I finished high school and when I finished my college studies. All I remember is that the graduation speaker was someone important, someone who was invited because that someone is supposed to give a message. What was more important to us graduates at that time was the excitement of the celebrations, the happiness and the joy of our parents, the sadness of parting from our classmates and from our teachers, and the enjoyment of all the graduation events that usually take place come commencement day. When I was a college student, we had a series of events which were designed to embed in our minds, which were designed to help us remember and not forget our days in college. We would spend one whole day going around the campus, visiting the classrooms, saying goodbye to our teachers, and sharing memories. We would have bonfires to say goodbye to each other. We had baccalaureate services where we committed ourselves to God and we prayed for guidance when we go out into the world. So many celebrations, and the speaker, of course, is the least important and easily forgotten component of the graduation exercise. Nonetheless, I will exert all efforts to share with you what I see are things or issues which a graduate should remember and recall. I have said that you are very special. You are very different. You are pioneering. There has been no other class like your class. There has been no other graduate like you as a graduating student because you are the very first graduate of the blended learning response to education in the Philippines. And so you ask yourself, what awaits you in the world outside? You can either work because the kind of curriculum you survived and underwent as a student will enable you to go to work if you wish to go to work. Some of you will proceed to further studies, and this would be a wonderful thing because there are many opportunities for further expanding your knowledge, for further answering and looking for explanations of issues, events that make you curious, especially in science, in technology, and also in the arts. so you can work, you can go to further studies, and perhaps some of you will settle down, hopefully not too soon, so you can pursue what you really want to do. So today, this is why we call this exercise a commencement exercise. It's not the end of our studies. It's not the end of all our efforts with blended learning, with modules, with floods, with earthquakes, and of course with COVID. It's a commencement of doors opening to you. More doors will be opened because you are a graduate. You can work, you can proceed for further studies, you can help your parents, and you can perhaps look for opportunities to do what you have always wanted to do, whether at work, whether at advanced studies, whether at learning more in science and technology, in mathematics, and in the arts. All of these opportunities are available to you. More doors are being opened. I hope you will select the door which arouses your curiosity, the door which will help you know more about this world, and the door which will allow you to contribute to the development of our country and contribute whatever we can to solve our problems and our challenges. Congratulations once more to each and every one of you. Congratulations to you, parents and family members. Congratulations to you, teachers. When I was chair of the board of Silliman University, each time we had graduation ceremonies during the baccalaureate and during commencement itself, I would cry. I would cry because you are sending out into the world a new batch of graduates, and we want to be sure that what is awaiting them is appropriate. We want to be sure that they are ready for what awaits them when they select which door to open. And so we tell you, go out to the world, do whatever you want to do. God be with you, and be assured that all of us love each and every one of you. Congratulations.
At this juncture, let us have on screen Ms. Rochelle May Arisgado to lead the graduates in reciting the Pledge of Loyalty.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you.
To my fellow graduates, please raise your right hand and join me in reciting our class pledge. Imbued with the spirit of love and loyalty to Tominjao National High School, Tominjao Bantayan, Cebu, our alma mater, we, the members of the graduating class of school year 2020 to 2021, do hereby pledge to do our best to live up to the noble tradition of this institution. We pledge to honor her by further pursuing higher education and preparing ourselves to live in the community and lead a frugal life, obey the laws of the new Constitution, and become worthy citizens of the Republic of the Philippines. So, help us God.
We have come to the end of our program. To give the closing remarks, let us welcome virtually the Faculty Club President of Tominjao National High School, Mr. Herbert T. Cañete.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you.
Good day, beautiful people. Today, as I come up here to deliver my speech, I can't help myself but be filled with overflowing emotions. I am just about to say words that we all deserve to hear. We all did a great job. As the school year 2020 to 2021, an academic year baked under the pandemic, comes to an end, who wouldn't be emotional? Who wouldn't be grateful? What you see now might not be the picture you used to image when you graduate senior high school or when you complete junior high school even. No parent can come up on stage. No shaking of hands. No distribution of diplomas. No congratulatory hugs. No momentous entrance of graduates donning in their blue togas. However, the absence of the ceremonious activities does not underrate the reality, the truth, that our students have finished their education despite the challenges brought by the pandemic. This ceremony, however, it is done celebrates success. We've seen the efforts of our dear parents and students, every module distribution and retrieval. We've seen the efforts of our teachers all throughout the journey and the support of the Department of Education and the government. We made it work. We tapped to our resources no matter how risky just to provide a quality education. So please, take pride of this success. This is nothing less than the past closing we had. In fact, this is sweeter. Because you and me and everyone in the community has worked hand in hand to make this happen. The end of school year Rise has a theme that goes, kalidad ng edukasyon lalong patatagin sa gitna ng pandemya, strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic. And to that, let's say yes. To our parents and students, congratulations. To our students, let this resonate to you. Come what may, never allow any circumstance to take your dreams away from you. Protect your dreams. Create a life today that your future self will thank you for. Thank you, everyone. To God be the glory.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations, graduates, and to your proud parents. Maya Angelou once said, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." So graduates, go forth and take no limits of what you can do and what you can be. Go forth, grow, and be successful. God bless.